MKO, Kingibe, SDP, Progress. Abiola na the hope.
Saturday, June 12, 1993, history was made in Nigeria. A day religion and ethnicity were relegated to the back seat as Nigerians trooped to polling booths to elect their president. The Muslim ticket of Moshood Abiola and Baba Gana Kingibe notwithstanding, Nigerians spoke with one voice. Nigeria's business mogul and a friend of the masses was coming to set the country on a good footing after more than 20 years of military rule. Excitement filled the air. Hope was in sight, but the joy was short-lived. On the 23rd of June 1993, the military regime of Ibrahim Babangida put paid to the yearnings of the people to have a president of their choice. It annulled the election. The word annulment crept into Nigeria's political lexicon for the first time. Then, all hell was let loose.
General Babangida has not been able to justify the criminal annulment of the election. All he has been doing since then is to prevaricate, and then dance around the issue. But history has taken care of the disaster. He attempted to run for the presidency of the country, but because of that annulment, he had to give it up.
In the midst of citizens' agitations, Moshood Abiola decided to stand up to the military. Epetedo, an unassuming locality on Lagos Island, was his choice place to reclaim his mandate. Epetedo was historic in its own rights. It was home to some of the followers of the deposed and banished Oba Kosoko of Lagos in the late 1880s. The British colonialists deposed Kosoko for refusing to enter transatlantic slave trade. This perhaps motivated Moshood Abiola to opt for Epetedo and made the historic "Enough is Enough" declaration 1 year after the election. In the historic speech, Moshood Abiola declared himself winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election to the admiration of many citizens. He described the annulment as an abominable act of naked political armed robbery. Moshood Abiola carpeted the military for staying put to power for the better part of the country's years of post-independence. He energized the citizens to stand up for their mandate and keep hope of a better nation alive. But the military junta was not going to stand by in the face of such an aggravating action. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana was one of those in the forefront of the actualization of the June 12 mandate. It tells me the significance of Moshood Abiola's historic speech and the aftermath of his declaration.
The essence of that declaration was that Abiola was saying that we are not a conquered people. And if an election had taken place, the winner of that election ought to have been installed to form a government. That was why the regime could not try Abiola for treason. Because the regime will have to show, the case was going to be used to show that Abiola won the election. And that election was adjudged by international standard to be fair and free. So the regime couldn't afford to have itself exposed for subversion of democracy. Hence, Abiola was simply locked up.
Bayo Balogun was a member of the National Republican Convention (NRC) in Lagos in 1993. He admits Moshood Abiola defeated his party and wondered why the election was annulled. Now a serving member of the National Assembly, Bayo Balogun tells me the significance of Moshood Abiola's declaration.
Power is never served a la carte. The military will never tell you come and take. And if you cannot fight for your mandate, then you don't even deserve that mandate. And Abiola, for who he was, he tried his best to ensure that the mandate of the people actually see the light of the day. But God, we have our plans and God has his.
Like Bayo Balogun, Ogene Ego is a legislator. He goes down memory lane to recapture the essence of Moshood Abiola's gallant step towards reclaiming a mandate freely given by Nigerians.
The results were out, everybody had the result. All that was being done is Wosu was putting them on the board. And in fact, from what he had put on the board, it was clear he had won the election before, according to him, the military asked him to put it down. So the man won the election, and he was bold enough to say he won it.
So in the case of Abiola, he won that election fair and square. It was known to everyone. And the junta under Babangida was trying to play games. Even if you read the broadcast of Ibrahim Babangida annulling the election, it was a big joke. They even went to the extent of saying, oh, the government was owing Abiola a lot of money.
Yeah, but you see, what happened is that we spend our money in...
Although Moshood Abiola never reclaimed his mandate, these Nigerians are today happy that June 12 has got its desired place in history as Democracy Day, and the acclaimed winner has been honored with the highest national award of the land. They speak on lessons learned.
What Abiola has done, or what he did, in spite of his own romance with imperialism before he contested the election, I think for us it's a lesson that you need to remain consistent with the people. You need to fight for your rights. And that ultimately the people will win.
The most important part of it now is like 30 years after, someone who is actually fully involved in that movement, one of the chieftain of Nadeco, is now the president of Nigeria, and who played a major role in even all this struggle, is now the president of Nigeria. That's a soothing for even all the lovers of June 12.
If you look at the Nigerian political terrain today, I'm sorry to say a lot of lessons have not been drawn from our experience at that time, no. We are still repeating the same mistakes of the past. Politicians go into elections in many cases without any program.
Indeed, in the last 30 years, lessons have been learned, and the return of democracy in 1999, as well as the actualization of the 7th transfer of power from one civilian rule to another, attest to the subordination of the military and how unfashionable military rule has become, not only in Nigeria, but in Africa as a continent. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.